strange image on his trail camera back on Halloween. After sending it into a show on Animal Planet, a team from Finding Bigfoot descended on his property to investigate.
15 years of wild rumors have led to this.
Freaked me out really bad. I thought at the time Bigfoots were supposed to be black. This wasn't black. It was the same color as a coyote, a silverish, grayish white.
A drone enters a forbidden forest and uncovers the unthinkable. Its camera captures a towering, shadowy figure, not alone, but with a smaller companion clinging close. This is no ordinary blurry footage. It's terrifyingly clear and calculated. The creature moves like it owns the forest, a place deemed too dangerous for humans. Let us uncover the truth behind this chilling discovery and what it means for the legend of Bigfoot. A Sasquatch sighting for the ages. This isn't the first time Sasquatch made headlines. Back in the early 90s, a former forest ranger named Paul Freeman stumbled across something that changed the way people see these stories. In the shadowy Blue Mountains of Washington, Freeman claimed he didn't just see one Yeti, but an entire family. Imagine a creature towering over 6 feet, with long arms and a stride that made it clear it wasn't human. Freeman's footage might have been grainy, but it was enough to start arguments between believers and doubters that are still going strong today. What Freeman found in those woods wasn't just a sighting, it was a secret still unraveling.
No question in my mind we're not looking at a human hand here. I mean, I put my hand up next to it, it's twice as big as my hand, and I'm twice as big as almost all the Nepalese people.
The idea of a Sasquatch family, creatures living in secret, blending perfectly into the wilderness, was both exciting and eerie. Freeman's sightings suggested these creatures weren't just wandering around aimlessly. They were smart, maybe even as curious about us as we are about them. While some people were quick to yell, "Hoax," others dove into analyzing the footage frame by frame. Was this proof of something living out there that we've missed all this time? Fast forward to 2009, and the mystery deepens. In the rugged wilderness near a place called Gum Hill, an ATV rider named Chuck Newton had an encounter that sent shivers down his spine. With his camera strapped on, Chuck was cruising through a creek trail, capturing the wild beauty of the forest. But then it happened. A tall, dark figure moved through the trees, crossing the stream like it owned the place. It was quick, almost like it knew it shouldn't be seen. Chuck was left frozen, unsure if he'd just witnessed something extraordinary or if his mind was playing tricks on him. The footage Chuck posted online exploded with theories. Some said it had to be a Yeti, while others shrugged it off as a shadow or maybe even a prank. But for those who took a closer look, the way the creature moved, smooth, deliberate, almost ghost-like, didn't match up with any known animal. This wasn't just another bear or a person in a gorilla suit. Chuck's encounter became a hot topic, adding more fuel to the ever-burning Sasquatch debate. Then there's the strange case of the Connecticut Yeti. In a quiet part of Litchfield County, a wedding photographer heard strange noises outside his house one night.
Start looking up because everything they're interested in is up down on the ground. But in this case, I think it's actually just blending in, and there's so many leaves and things here.
Figuring it was just a bear rummaging through trash, he grabbed his camera and peeked outside. What he saw was something entirely different. A massive, upright figure moved across his lawn with long, swinging arms that looked anything but ordinary. He managed to catch it on video, and just like that, the Connecticut Sasquatch became an internet sensation. People couldn't get enough of the footage. The creature's sheer size and speed, combined with its oddly long limbs, made it seem impossible to explain away. Sure, some folks argued it was a person in a costume or a bear seen from a weird angle, but others pointed out how unnatural the movements were. Whatever it was, the sighting brought the Yeti legend to a whole new part of the country, keeping the mystery alive. One of the most memorable encounters happened on Independence Day. A cameraman managed to film not just one Sasquatch, but two, a larger creature and what looked like its child. The video showed the adult guiding the smaller one, almost protectively, through the forest. At one point, the larger creature even glanced directly at the camera, its gaze piercing. The footage struck a chord with people, adding a whole new layer to the story. Sasquatch as a parent, a creature capable of family bonds. Each of these sightings, from Freeman's family of Sasquatches to Chuck's quick-moving shadow and the Independence Day duo, paints a picture of something extraordinary. These aren't just random animals wandering around. They're smart, careful, and possibly even social creatures living on the fringes of human discovery. But let's circle back to that drone footage. This wasn't a casual trip into the forest. The team flying the drone knew what they were doing. They chose a restricted area, a place where people aren't supposed to go because of rough terrain and dangerous wildlife. It was the perfect hideout for something like Sasquatch, a creature that seems to thrive on staying hidden. And this time, they captured something that's hard to dismiss. The drone's high-definition camera scanned the dense forest, flying over areas no human could easily reach. Then it happened. The footage showed a large figure moving through the trees. It wasn't just the size that caught everyone's attention. It was the way it moved. Smooth, calculated, almost like it knew the drone was there, but didn't care. The video went viral almost instantly, with people from all over weighing in. Experts analyzed the footage, pointing out details that made it hard to fake, like the way the creature's muscles shifted as it walked. Of course, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics argue it's just another elaborate hoax, a person in a suit, or even clever computer-generated imagery. But even they have to admit, the footage raises questions that aren't easy to answer. If this was fake, it's one of the best fakes anyone's ever pulled off. And if it's real, well, that changes everything. With the footage sparking talks, how does this creature stay hidden? Bigfoot's family tree. The allure of Bigfoot lies in the mystery. For every piece of evidence that surfaces, there are a dozen questions. Why hasn't anyone found a body? How do they stay hidden so well? What do they eat? Where do they live? The lack of concrete answers only adds to the fascination. Each new sighting, each grainy video, each blurry footprint keeps the legend alive, fueling the hope that one day we'll finally uncover the truth. For decades, Sasquatch has been a subject of intense debate, pulling people into its mystery. It's not just the sightings themselves, but what they say about the world around us. Are there really hidden places where something like Yeti could live undetected? The thought alone is thrilling. It suggests the world still has secrets, pockets of wilderness where the rules don't apply, and anything is possible. Even the skeptics have to admit, the story of Sasquatch taps into something deeper, a longing for mystery in a world that feels increasingly mapped out and explained. Whether you're a believer or not, the tales of Yeti sightings keep the conversation alive.
What was supposed to be the original finger was tested by the Royal College of Surgeons, and it came back as human. Do they believe that the Yeti is a real animal, flesh and blood?
They keep us looking to the forest with wonder, imagining what could be lurking just beyond the tree line. And who knows, maybe the next sighting, the next piece of evidence, will finally give us the answer we've been searching for all along. Until then, the legend continues. Sasquatch remains an enigma, a creature of shadow and speculation that captures our imaginations like nothing else. The drone footage is just one chapter in a story that refuses to end. A story that invites us to keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep believing in the possibility of the unknown. Imagine this: 15 years of waiting, and finally a drone zips into a heavily restricted forest, its camera buzzing with anticipation. What it captured? Let's just say the footage left jaws on the floor and had even skeptics scratching their heads. A towering, shadowy figure with a peculiar walk. But wait, it wasn't just the figure itself that caught everyone's attention. Next to it, a smaller, equally mysterious companion, sticking close like it was glued. This wasn't your everyday blurry Sasquatch clip. Oh no, this was different. Let's dive into why this video was such a big deal. First, the so-called parental vibe. The bigger creature, let's call it Sasquatch Senior, looked down at the little one with a glance that seemed, dare I say it, protective. It was shielding its young from prying eyes. Some experts went nuts over this, claiming it hinted at family dynamics similar to humans. Could Yeti have a family tree, and not just a metaphorical one? The way they moved also had folks talking. Yeti Jr. clinging to Sasquatch Sr. with a grip tighter than a kid on a roller coaster made it all feel oddly real. Like you were peeking into a private moment, not just spotting a random forest dweller.
I've seen pictures of this monastery, so to be here is quite an honor for us.
Skeptics, of course, chimed in with their usual spiel. Costumes, clever editing, but others weren't buying it. The raw, emotional detail in their movements made believers' hearts race. Now let's zoom out a bit to another wild moment in Sasquatch's highlight reel, the aggressive Yeti encounter. Picture this, a drone humming through the woods, probably thinking it's just going to grab some scenic shots. Suddenly outstorms a massive figure, clearly not thrilled about its airspace being invaded. This wasn't the shy, reclusive Sasquatch from fairy tales. This one had a territorial vibe. Its posture screamed defensiveness, almost like it was ready to defend its turf. Some compared it to China's Jaren or North America's Momo, cryptids known for their bad attitudes. Could it be a different species altogether? Or just a really grumpy Sasquatch? Either way, it had people buzzing. But hold up, we're not done with the surprises. Enter the orange Yeti, straight out of California. Orange, not the usual dark or black fur, but a bright hue that had everyone's eyebrows raising. Spotted on a steep hillside, this Sasquatch didn't just look different, it moved differently too. Graceful, almost like it was showing off. It swung between trees like it had been doing it forever. Some brushed it off as sunlight playing tricks, but others, they saw it as proof of a whole new subspecies. Could Sasquatch be the chameleon of the cryptid world, adapting to different regions with unique traits? Fast forward to the Ontario Sasquatch. This wasn't your average chance encounter. A hunting camera quietly perched in Canada's dense wilderness snagged footage of a hulking figure strolling upright through the trees. It was massive, way too big to be human, and its bipedal strut was far too smooth to be a bear. Bears don't casually walk on two legs for extended periods, do they? The footage hit TikTok and ignited fiery debates. Skeptics tried the old "it's just a bear" line, but even they had to admit the movement's eerily human-like quality gave them pause. Now for a story that sends chills down your spine. Back in 2017, Scott Yeoman, a regular guy from Colorado, had a close encounter of the stinky kind. One night, his house was filled with a smell so foul it could have knocked over a linebacker, a mix of decay and something wild. Peeking out his window, he froze. There it was, a hulking figure with hair as wild as the forest itself and eyes that seemed to bore straight into his soul. He managed to snap a few grainy photos before the creature melted into the shadows, leaving Scott with a lingering sense of dread. The photos hit the web and the debates raged on. Was it a bear? An escaped gorilla? Or had Scott come face to face with the legend itself? Each of these moments adds fuel to the Sasquatch fire. From protective parents to territorial giants, from orange anomalies to haunting stares, these sightings weave a story that's hard to dismiss. Let's add some more context. In the forests of North America alone, countless reports over the years have described towering figures that vanish before they can be properly studied. Researchers have compiled footprints that are far too large for any known species, hairs that defy identification, and sound recordings that give you goosebumps. These elements create a tapestry of mystery, leaving enthusiasts and experts alike to puzzle over the truth. Now the story moves to a land where these tales run deep, the elusive guardians of the Northwest. Take the Pacific Northwest, for instance, a region often cited as Bigfoot's home turf. The dense forests and remote mountain ranges provide the perfect hideout for a creature that prefers solitude. Locals have stories passed down through generations, with Native American legends even including figures that resemble the towering enigma. Could these tales hold a grain of truth? Scientists debate, but the stories persist. Then there's the matter of how such a large creature could remain hidden. Critics argue that something so big would have left behind undeniable evidence. However, supporters of the elusive giant counter with examples from the animal kingdom. Rare species have eluded discovery for centuries, often only spotted when their habitats are disrupted. They point to the lowland gorilla, once thought to be a myth, as proof that large creatures can remain hidden. The debate extends beyond the woods and into the realm of social media. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Reddit have become breeding grounds for new theories and evidence. Videos claiming to show sightings of the forest dweller rack up millions of views, with users analyzing every frame for clues. Though many turn out to be hoaxes, a select few spark intense discussions. Could these digital breadcrumbs eventually lead to something undeniable? The obsession with this legendary being isn't just about proving its existence, it's about the thrill of the hunt. For many, the idea that there might still be mysteries left in the world is a powerful draw. As technology advances, drones, trail cameras, and even thermal imaging are being employed to solve the mystery.
Were you up in the tree stand when it happened?
Yes, this exact tree right here 20 years ago in 1992 is where it all happened.
Whether these tools will finally capture the shadowy figure in undeniable detail remains to be seen, but the chase itself has captivated millions. Could these glimpses be pieces of a puzzle, showing us there's more to our forests than we'll ever truly know? The stories continue to grow, layer upon layer, keeping the legend alive. From the protective parent to the aggressive guardian, the colorful outlier, and the elusive figure in the shadows. This creature remains one of the greatest mysteries of our time. 15 years. That's how long it took for a drone to make its way into a tightly restricted forest and shake up the old chatter. It didn't just stir the pot, it tipped it over. Washington State has long been a hotspot for these tales, with plenty of blurry snapshots and wild accounts to keep the campfire stories alive. But a drone flight over Birch Bay in early 2021 flipped the script. The footage, short but powerful, captured something big and shadowy weaving through the trees. It wasn't just a random blob on a screen. This was deliberate movement, smooth and purposeful, like it owned the forest. What's eerie? The footage was recorded just before midnight, a time when most big animals are snoozing. The figure, though mostly hidden by branches, had an unmistakable size and presence. Not your average deer or bear. The way it moved screamed familiarity with the woods, almost like it belonged there more than any hiker or camper ever could.
Those who take Bigfoot seriously don't take every alleged Bigfoot video seriously. In fact, they're often the first to call foul on the fakers. So when they tell us they've seen video they think is legit,
it's the kind of thing that sticks in your brain, nudging at the part of you that doesn't quite believe, but also doesn't want to explain it away. And then things got weirder. Over the next few weeks, 4 trail cameras set up nearby vanished, gone without a trace. Local theories bounced between pranksters and hunters not wanting to get caught on film, but some people weren't buying it. Could it have been the creature itself, savvy enough to notice the cameras and bold enough to take them out? It's a chilling thought. A forest giant with smarts, not just brawn. The mystery didn't stop there. Enter Clay Shiner, an ordinary guy on a casual hike who caught something extraordinary on his phone camera. The figure was tall, dark, and impossible to ignore, striding through the underbrush like it had somewhere important to be. Its movements were oddly fluid, almost human, but with a strange primal edge. Shiner's camera barely kept up as the figure melted into the trees, leaving behind a mix of curiosity and unease. The story doesn't just end with Washington State. Across the country, Missouri has its own legend. Momo, short for the Missouri Monster, made its mark back in the summer of 1971. Louisiana, Missouri became ground zero for a series of terrifying encounters. Locals describe Momo as 7 feet tall, covered in dark fur, and emitting a stench so strong it was unforgettable. Unlike the elusive Pacific Northwest native who tends to mind its own business, Momo was aggressive and loud, letting out guttural roars that left witnesses shaking. Some believe this creature wasn't just a relative, but a separate variation adapted to the harsh Midwest landscape. Scarce food and tough conditions might have shaped Momo into something fiercer, more territorial, and harder to dismiss as folklore. The idea of regional variations is tantalizing. Could these creatures be more than one species, each uniquely adapted to its environment? The Pacific Northwest's dense forests might house one type, while the rugged terrain of the Midwest could foster another.
When I asked the monk how he felt, he held to their beliefs that they believed this was from a Yeti. It seems there's always an answer, and yet they can't provide real evidence.
It's so big.
This theory opens a whole new world of speculation and possibilities, deepening the mystery. Today, the tools for tracking these creatures have advanced far beyond grainy photos and shaky video. Drones, trail cameras, and smartphones have opened up new ways to scan the wilderness. Yet, despite the leaps in technology, the shadowy forest dweller remains elusive. Every new sighting, no matter how compelling, raises a slew of questions. Are they solitary creatures, or do they live in small groups? How do they evade detection in forests full of hikers, hunters, and researchers? And what would it mean if we finally captured undeniable proof of their existence? For believers, every blurry frame and second-hand account is a step closer to validation. For skeptics, it's another chance to roll their eyes and dismiss the whole phenomenon. But the fascination with this elusive entity isn't just about proving whether it's real. It's about the thrill of the unknown and the possibility that there's still something out there, hidden and untamed, waiting to be discovered. Places like Birch Bay in Washington and the Blue Mountains in Oregon have become pilgrimage sites for enthusiasts. Visitors hope for a glimpse of the creature, or at least the eerie feeling that comes with walking in its rumored footsteps. Local communities embrace the legend, passing down stories from generation to generation. The mystery has become more than a creature. It's a symbol of the wild, a connection to the unknown, and a challenge to our understanding of the natural world. Is the legend real or just a story we want to believe? Tell us what you think, leave a comment, like, and subscribe to join the chat.